And this is your election eve here on your election headquarters, here on the JoyNews channel, also on Joy 99.7 FM. I am MF Apple. Welcome once again. And of course, as 17,027,641 voters prepare to cast their ballots starting tomorrow. I know you've already done so if you are part of the special voters. But tonight we have the men and of course the women dotted across all 16 regions in this country. And we cover it like none other. Of course, this is your election headquarters, and we'll be going live onto the ground and speak to most of our correspondents about preparedness. I'll also be joined much later by the Electoral Commission, Director of Electoral Services for the Electoral Commission, Dr. Sribo Kweku, will also be joining the studio by Madame Rhoda Oseafo. She's with the she was with the Codeo, of course, working together with the CDD. They've set up a communication center, which is a coalition center as well. We'll be touching base with that as well. And of course, issues about security have come up, counter allegations. We'll be going to the police as well. Sheila Abeye Backman, she's in charge of public affairs of the police service. She'll also be joining us. But let's start off from my correspondents on the ground. My colleague, Erastus Asari Donko from the Ashanti region is on standby. Erastus, this is a key region, of course, for the governing NPP. But let's talk about preparations in terms of what you have monitored so far. What can you report?
Well, currently we are at the regional EC office, and about a little over 2,700,000 people are expected to cast their ballots tomorrow morning. And if you look behind me, officials of the Electoral Commission have been very busy since afternoon. They've been sorting out electoral materials for all the polling stations in all the 47 constituencies across the Ashanti region. A short while ago, we had some buses parked in front of the electoral office. All the materials that are ready, and each box contains materials for each polling station. They've been compiling these things since morning. And now some of them are ready. They've been dispatched already. And this is one constituency, and you can see the officers picking them up and carrying them onto the buses outside for dispatching to the constituencies. And then early morning, they will be carried over to the various polling stations for voting to start. I must say that generally in Kumasi, the cities have been very calm, unusually calm today. I don't know why, but when you speak with the people, they are resting and relaxing. Some of them are trying to calm down and do what they have to do in the house in anticipation of early voting tomorrow morning. I have spoken to people who are ready to go to the various polling stations as early as 5 a.m. to drop their items over there in queue to start voting at exactly 7 a.m. So I must say the enthusiasm is up there. People are ready to cast.
Just when it was getting interesting, I've just lost my colleague Erastus Asari Donko there via that live feed. Of course, we'll go back to the Ashanti region. We'll check on issues about security. He's been talking about queues already forming, and you've seen the ballot boxes, the papers in there, the EC regional executives getting ready for this critical election starting tomorrow at 7 a.m. Are you ready? You can also get interactive. You can send us a message. It's via our WhatsApp platforms, also on our social media platforms. You can leave them there. Of course, we're on Facebook. You can tweet at us. Also, it's Election HQ. Of course, this is your election headquarters, and it's made possible by Petrosol, clean fuel, full quantity. We also have Cowbell, taste it, love it. Magdan Shipping and Logistics, your total logistics partner. Part Ever Limited, your home of modern furniture. And of course, Co-IFS, the immune booster for your general well-being. My colleagues are dotted across the country, like I said. We'll be heading to the Volta region, the OT region, the Eastern region. We've started off from the Ashanti region. We'll head to the North Northeast, Upper West, Upper East region. Name it and your election headquarters is right there. We have more men than any other station in this country. That is why we are your election headquarters. So let's get to the election headquarters. And of course, this is the Electoral Commission. We are the election headquarters, but they are the Electoral Commission. And my colleague Israel Lai is on standby from the Electoral Commission and will join us with more from what is happening there. So today, the Electoral Commission held a press conference updating us on their preparedness. But what do you see as you've been there, Israel? Hello, Israel. Israel, if you can hear me now, we can get your feed and you can update us on what is happening at the Electoral Commission. You've been monitoring proceedings there. I've been talking about the press conference they held earlier today, updating us and asking political parties not to declare the results ahead of them. But what have you been monitoring in terms of deployment? I'm sure they've done that already. But what is currently happening at the Electoral Commission, Israel?
All right, I'm actually at the Accra Mall, as I indicated. I'm getting to speak with a few people who are here about tomorrow's election and asking them generally if they're voting, if they're keen on voting, what are some of the issues that are informing their vote. And yeah, hi, what's your name?
My name is Manuela Banfro.
Okay, so tomorrow is D-Day, Election Day. Are you voting?
No, I'm not 18 yet.
You're not 18? Oh, okay. So how about you?
Yeah, my name is Michaela Odonko.
Your name is?
Michaela Odonko.
Okay. Are you voting tomorrow?
Yes, I'm voting.
Have you decided who you're voting for?
Yes, I have.
Okay, you don't have to tell me who you're voting for, but what are some of the issues that have informed your decision?
Okay, so the current government is owing a lot of money, and currently when you are born in Ghana, you are already having a public debt of 8,000 plus.
Hey!
So because of that information...
When did you calculate that?
It was on TV, so I have researched a little and I know who I'm voting for.
All right. Are you voting for the same party, presidential and parliamentary, or you intend to switch?
Yes, I am. The same party.
The same party. All right. Thank you very much. You're willing to tell me how old you are?
Yeah, I'm 21 years old.
Is this the first time you're voting, I guess?
Yes, please.
All right. And you're excited about it?
Yes, very excited.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let me bring a few others who are here. Please join me. Okay, so are you voting tomorrow?
I'm certainly not. I'm not interested.
You're not? Why?
No. I'm quite displeased about a lot of issues. Corruption, unavailability of jobs, and then generally opportunities. When I look at all these three stuff, I seriously don't feel I have to vote. Actually, the last time I voted was in 2004.
Okay. All right, so essentially you can't choose between any of the candidates. You're unhappy with both of them?
All of them, actually. All of them.
Okay. Thank you very much. So yes, one gentleman who says that he's not voting tomorrow, but well, he seems to be the outlier. He's about the only person I've spoken with who says he's not voting tomorrow. But a few of the people I've spoken with here are quite excited about it. Thank you very much for speaking to us. There are a few others. Please come over and join us. Come over, join us. So I have a few others who are here who, yeah, they're deciding that they're going to vote and going to be speaking with us. Hello, you tell me your name.
I'm Na.
Okay, and you are?
Prince.
Prince, all right. So tomorrow is election day, and I'm asking, are you voting?
Yes.
Yes, please.
All right. What are the issues that are informing your vote?
As to the elections.
Yeah, what are the issues? So why are you, I'm sure you've decided who you're going to vote for already.
Yes, please.
You've also decided?
Yes, please.
So what are the issues informing your vote? Or what got you to decide that I'm voting for this party?
Based on the current development, yes, I think that's one of the reasons why.
Okay. And so the question I keep asking people as well is, are you voting for the same party for the presidential as well as the parliamentary, or intend to switch?
I'm voting for the same.
The same party?
Yes, please.
Okay, presidential parliamentary. How about you?
The same.
The same?
Yes, please.
Okay. And you have also decided who you're voting for?
Yes, please.
And the issues?
Yeah, so based on the current policies which were made or has been made, and I've also been a benefit of that policy, so I think I'm going to vote based on the policies which are made.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Do you have friends who have decided they're going to vote or they're not going to vote? If you look at amongst your friends, are they going to go out there to vote tomorrow or they're not?
They are going to vote in their numbers. Very well. Yeah, I have a lot of people who are going to vote tomorrow.
Okay. How about you?
Yeah, some people were contemplating, but speaking together as friends, we've got some of them to change their minds. And
So you've been convincing people to vote?
not that I've been convincing people personally, but meeting as friends and discussing one or two things, they came to a form of realization that they are going to vote.
Okay. How long ago did you decide that you were going to vote, or you did decide who you're going to vote for?
I think in the course of the week.
Oh, just this past week?
Yes.
Oh, how about you?
Mine has been long.
Oh,
Yeah, mine has been long.
So a year, months?
No, just as we stepped, just as the election or the campaign started, yes.
Okay.
So I was listening to both parties, their policies, which they were laying down, yes. Then I was convinced on a particular party to vote for.
Thank you very much for agreeing to speak with us. Yeah? All right. Enjoy your evening here at the Accra Mall. So, yes, we've had a few more people who we've spoken with. There's some others who are around who will be joining me a little later. But, yeah, clearly, most of the people you're speaking with appear to have made up their minds that they're voting. And they also know who they're voting for. So that's pretty much it from the Accra Mall. I'll be gathering a few more people to get to speak with, and then we can come back to you.
That's Israel Live from the Accra Mall. Definitely we'll be getting into the EC Coalition Center, and my colleague Kwesi Parker Wilson has been there. We'll bring you a live feed from the Coalition Center of the EC Electoral Commission. So like I said earlier, they had held a press conference, and then Israel has been interacting with some first-time voters. For the record, we have 2,635,050 first-time voters out of the 17 and 27,641. So this is the figures. That's how it looks like. But tonight, I'm in the studios with Rhoda Osei-Afo. She's the project lead for Codeo. Together with CDD, they've put together a coalition center. Is it a communication center? Right here in Accra. I was bringing you National Information Center. Welcome once again. You've been on the law and you're with us also in the election tonight. We'll be interacting a lot because you've been doing a lot of work regarding the elections. But first off, what's happening in terms of preliminary work that you've been doing ahead of the polls tomorrow?
Well, thank you very much for having me. So we have been observing the pre-election environment for some time now. We started with the voter registration exercise. I mean, generally, there were a few issues, but all in all, if you look at what has transpired so far, I think it's generally been a calm electoral process. That is not to say that there haven't been issues. Of course, there have been issues along the way, but generally, you get a sense that there's relative calm. And as we go into tomorrow, we are hoping that everyone will play their role to ensure that this final push comes out quite well.
Okay, relative calm, but what have people been telling you? I'm sure you've been interacting with the ordinary Ghanaian as well. What is the sense that you get in terms of what they've been saying?
Well, I think there are generally mixed, feelings. Earlier, CDD Ghana, which conducted a survey essentially to just get a sense of the mood of the people. As far as this process is concerned, if you look at some of the findings, you saw that some people are quite keen, quite significant, or majority of the population look forward to taking part in this process. Many people are looking at various issues. People are looking at infrastructure. People are looking at roads. They are looking at jobs, the economy. But essentially, I think to a large extent, there's been a lot of focus in the pre-election environment, a lot of focus on issues, on campaign promises, on the manifestos, and of course, you in the media, I think you've done quite some fantastic work trying to throw more light on the policies of the various political parties. And of course, this is the kind of role that you expect the media to help, the kind of agenda that you want the media to help chart. Because at the end of the day, we want people to be able to vote based on very important indicators. They are looking at issues that really affect their lives, and I think it's important that you also did what you did by focusing on the issues.
Okay, I must say that in a bit we'll be bringing you the live feed from the Jubilee House. Once the president addresses the nation, we'll be bringing you that shortly right here on the election eve. But today is a no campaign day. But what have you gathered? It looks like all the action is on social media, virtual, but did you get a sense that people complied?
Well, I mean, so generally speaking, it's more like a convention that is respected that 24 hours before the polls, active campaigning is not supposed to be taking place. But like you said, campaigning is taking place in various forms, and of course, it tells you the kind of age that we are in, which is that we are in the information age. There's very little that anybody can do about that. It's a phenomenon that has come to live with us. But I think the essence is that people are still able to connect on the issues. There are a few areas where people go off, but to a large extent, people are still, technology is able to help people to stay on.
Thank you, Rhoda. Stay with me. Let's head to the Jubilee House now and listen to President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
Tomorrow, we go to the polls to elect a president and 275 members of parliament, whom we shall entrust with managing our affairs for the next 4 years. This will be the 8th time we shall be going through this important activity in the Fourth Republic. And we can safely say that each one has been an improvement on the previous one. We have had 5 presidents in the history of this Fourth Republic, with peaceful transfers of power from a governing to an opposition party on 3 separate occasions. Redress at the Supreme Court was sought, rather than recourse to street protests and agitations when there was dispute over the outcome of an election. Tomorrow, we have yet another opportunity to deepen further these excellent credentials. I am fortified in my belief that we will, if indeed the successful holding of last Tuesday's special voting exercise is the measure. The Electoral Commission has already assured the country of its readiness to deliver another successful process, and it has, to this end, compile the most credible voters' register in our history. So it is in our collective interest to help ensure that tomorrow passes off in an orderly, peaceful, and transparent manner. At the end of the day, there should be no lingering question about the legitimacy of the election, and the winning candidate at the end of the process should receive the unalloyed support of all. That is how we can strengthen our democracy and the peace and stability of our nation. Particularly in the wake of the pandemic, let us all adhere strictly to the COVID-19 protocols put in place at all the 38,622 polling stations, so we can cast our ballots in safety. We should therefore not panic or be afraid. Many countries around the world have conducted elections within this period, and I have no doubt that Ghana will join those nations in organizing a successful general election, even in the midst of the virus. We should all remember the words of an ancient philosopher who said, and I quote, "The punishment suffered by the wise who refuse to take part in the government is to live under the government of worse men," unquote. using your God-given and constitutional rights costs nothing. But staying home can come at a very steep price. So I entreat all eligible voters to turn out in your numbers, cast your vote, and thereby exercise your sovereign right to the making of government in the country. As President of the Republic and Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, it is my responsibility to guarantee the peace of the nation. It is thus crucial that tomorrow's vote be conducted in an atmosphere of peace and security, devoid of intimidation and violence. The Ghanaian people are entitled to go about the exercise of their civic duties in peace and in freedom. The security services have assured me that they have made adequate preparations to protect the sanctity of the process. They have assured me of their determination to carry out their duties without fear or favor. Improper behavior by any citizen, no matter their political color, will not be tolerated. And I'm encouraged by the assurance by the Inspector General of Police, as well as by the heads of the other security services, that they will be even-handed in their response to issues. That is the only way the rule of law can be upheld. In view of the happenings on the continent, and indeed in West Africa, the entire world is looking up to us to maintain our status as a beacon of democracy, peace, and stability on the African continent. In this Fourth Republic, we've had the longest uninterrupted period of stable constitutional governance in our history, banishing the specter of instability that disfigured the early years of our nation's existence. And the benefits are showing. Together, let us continue to lay the platform for the evolution of a new Ghanaian civilization, which will give true meaning to the foundational values of freedom and justice on which our nation was conceived by its far-sighted visionary founders. Fellow Ghanaians, we can do it. So let us be up and doing, for our destiny beckons. May God bless us all in our homeland, Ghana, and make her great and strong. And thank you for your attention. Have a good evening and vote safely.
President Akufo-Addo, in that address to the nation ahead of tomorrow's poll starting at 7 a.m., a number of issues are quickly raised. Issues about peaceful, transparent election and EC's preparedness and assurance learning from the December 1 election, which is the special voting. They assured that there will be a peaceful, transparent election, and he's assured that that will happen. And then also COVID protocols must be adhered to as we go out tomorrow. That's key because we don't want a second wave or even a third wave, but he's saying that we should cast our ballot in safety and that there should be no panicking. Most importantly, he adds that we should go out there and vote. Staying home costs a lot, but voting costs nothing. And then he's also guaranteeing, as the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, that they're going to guarantee the peace of the nation and everybody would be able to vote devoid of intimidation and violence. Rather, that's key. That's one of the issues that the opposition has raised. And the security services, he says, has been giving him the assurance that they will protect the sanctity of the process. Improper behavior by any citizen, regardless of your political party, will not be tolerated, so they will be dealt with. He's also asking for even-handedness by the security forces. This is the president. Vote safely. President Akufo-Addo, in those words, in that address. Well, what stands out for you in that address?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think the point about the opportunity that this election offers for us to further deepen our democratic processes. And we all know that among our peers on the continent, relatively we hold ourselves in quite high esteem because we have not been doing poorly. We've been doing quite well. Now it's another opportunity for us to tell the world that indeed we can continue to do this every now and then. I think we should continue to work to the point where elections become a normal activity. Of course, it's an important activity, has a lot of significance, but when I say it should be a normal activity, the sense of tension that sometimes you get in the atmosphere and all the caution that have to be made because we are sort of uncertain about what outcomes can be. I think this is where we have to work to address that. At this time, when we have gone through this 7 times already, we are going to do this the 8th time. There isn't anything that is really new to us. We've done it, and there's no reason why we cannot do it again. And it's important that we all also work towards addressing that. I think the other point is that we shouldn't also take it for granted that we've done it again, and therefore it's going to happen automatically. If we are going to have credible processes, peaceful processes, and outcomes, it means we all must work to achieve that. And here you are looking at the Electoral Commission, you are looking at the security agencies, and it's important that the issue of the security agencies also came up because, of course, we know the critical role that they play. The way in which they conduct themselves can affect the peacefulness of the process. They are going to maintain peace and order. They are going to make sure that polling stations are safe places for people to vote and that there's peace, there's orderliness. We don't expect that at any point in time their own conduct will have problems for the process. And I think this should be our expectations. There's been a lot of assurances from the security agencies, the leadership. We are hoping that the men and women in uniform will also live up to expectations so that in the end, we all be proud of the process.
We've been giving the assurances upon assurances, but you've been observing the ground pre-elections. What do you see in terms of the security on the ground, aside the assurances that we are being given?
I mean, that's the point that, as you said, we've been raising so far in our pre-election statement that we've been releasing. The fact that sometimes the law enforcement is not seen to be, it's not being seen to be done fairly and firmly. Okay, there are a few cases where we've recorded incidents of violence as far as this electoral process is concerned, and even previous exercises are concerned. Now the issue is, what has been the outcomes of these issues? If people perpetrated violence, what has been the outcomes? Have any action been taken against them or not? And so this is where we still need to strengthen our law enforcement processes. There are people who go and do all manner of things and they just get away with it. But this is not good for us, especially if we want to send the right signals to the many Ghanaians who may want to do whatever, people who may want to take things into their hands. So applying the law firmly and fairly is something that the security agencies must definitely work on. And I think it's important if we are looking at election peace.
Well, great. We'll get more of this. Of course, the EU observers will also join us with their thoughts on pre-elections as we get ready for the elections starting tomorrow morning. Of course, this is your election headquarters, and we're with you largely the whole night, and our main coverage starts tomorrow. This is just preliminary. This is your election eve, and of course here at your election headquarters, men and women across the country, and we cover it like none other. And my colleague Kwesi Parker-Wilson earlier visited the Coalition Center of the Electoral Commission. This is what he found.
We are here at the Electoral Commission's Coalition Center, coming to assess the Commission's readiness for tomorrow's presidential and parliamentary election. Just a while ago, the chairperson of the Commission, Madam Jane Mensah, held the press conference to indicate to all Ghanaians that the Electoral Commission is certainly ready to conduct a
I'll keep you waiting a little bit more. I know you want to see what's in the coalition center of the Electoral Commission, but of course, Paka has it all covered. We'll bring it to you shortly. But many voters are also traveling back home to the regions to vote. My colleagues have been monitoring that as well. We've been to all the bus stations. Some political parties are busing people to the various regions to vote. We have it all covered. But let's start off from my colleague, Justice Bedu. He has been monitoring some of the bus stations as well. This is his report.
Asana Mohammed is a food vendor in Old Fadama. She's readying herself to travel back to Tamale, from where she came to live here 3 months ago. She just left senior high school and wants to go to university.
For me, I just want to have a leader for Ghana. I just want to go and vote, and we have a better leader for Ghana, so that we, the children, we get better future.
This is Ghana's largest slum. Around 100,000 people live here, many of them from northern Ghana. It's also one of the country's poorest enclaves. No public schools, no government hospitals, and city authorities have constantly been here with bulldozers to raise down many of the tin shacks because the people who live in them do not own the land. A hotbed for reported cases of violence in past elections. Political parties cannot ignore Old Fadama because of the sheer number of voters who live here.
As they are here, some of them, where they are asleep, they normally sleep. It's not good at all. But the politicians will come and say, we'll give you better places to sleep. But after the election, you will never see them around your place again. They will just vanish. They will not come. So for me, I'm just voting for the leader, but I'm pleading the politicians. What they normally promise, they have to do it, because we are human beings like them. When it's our voting time, they will come. All the northern people should come home and vote. But as they are here, even if you are sick and it's just tough, nobody will even see you and say, oh, you are my colleague northerner. No, they will not do that.
At the lorry park outside the slum, buses are parked as hundreds wait to board. They've been mobilized and paid for by the NPP and NDC representatives here.
This is about the 10th bus that is leaving here today, and each of them carrying over 50 people. These buses are going to towns like Gushegu, Karaga and Savulugu, about 600 and over kilometers away from here. It's going to take some of them over 12 hours to get to their destination. For the people who are making this journey, it is a very, very difficult but necessary trip to embark on.
At the current me too, and I'm on tour with you. Manis Swadehun said,
I am traveling to vote because I want to vote for a leader who would come and implement policies that will make my life better. Policies that will give me a job. That's why I'm going through this.
As a good citizen, that's what you're supposed to do. Your vote is your power. Yes. Right now, I have siblings who are also in senior high school, and they are all experiencing a free education. So I'm also happy with that. My parents are no more suffering to pay school fees for their education.
As the hundreds of these voters get ready to hit the road en route to cast their ballot, many go with the hope that unlike journeys they've made in the past like this one, their choice on the ballot paper will build a country where they too can benefit from and prosper. Justice Bedu, JoyNews, Old Fadama.
Yeah, it's okay.
very profound statement there from that young lady in that interview with Justice Beidou. Remember that we have men and women across all the country, 16 regions across this country as we prepare to vote. And of course, we've also been joined by the Director of Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service, Sheila Abeye-Bachman. You heard the police mention that security agencies should ensure that they protect the sanctity of tomorrow's polls. I'll be going to her shortly, but earlier my colleague Manuel Kranting says hundreds of students are arriving at the University of Ghana campus. That's the Ayawaso West Wogon constituency, a very key constituency. They are heading back to campus to prepare for the vote tomorrow. Manuel Kranting, if you're ready, tell us what you've witnessed so far. Okay, we'll get to Manuel Kranting shortly, but since we have Sheila Abeye-Bachman, then we can interact with her as well. Welcome, Madam Sheila Abeye-Bachman, to Election Eve here on your election headquarters. You'd have to unmute yourself. Perfect.
Thank you.
Perfect. We can hear you now.
So, the studio and everyone else.
Thank you very much. So what's happening tonight? The president has a charge for your security agencies, for instance, to protect the sanctity of the ballot. Before we get into that, tell us what's happening tonight.
Morale amongst the men and women of the security services is high. We are ready. Deployments have been done. We have taken posts. We have visited our polling stations across the country. Some people have been met with the presiding officers. Tomorrow morning, we will escort the materials. Election day will be peaceful. We will do our job fairly and firmly.
Morale may be high, but what's the charge to these men and women who've been deployed?
They have been briefed. They have been trained. We have gone through several. We are ready.
Looks like Sheila's network is as worn out as she is, very, very tired. We'll get back to Sheila Abeye-Bachman to get more from this. Of course, ahead of our security desk, Gifty Andopia was there this week when that main deployment was done. Last week, I should say. It's Sunday already. Okay, so she was on the ground at the Independence Square where that deployment was done. She'll bring us that report shortly. We'll also engage her to find out from her what exactly her interaction with these men and women have been. But Sheila is back with that. Sheila, we'll try again. So I was asking about the charge that you've given to these men and women as they head out there to manage the polls tomorrow.
It's simple. We just have to give the necessary protection and security to lives and properties, to the electioneering process, to protect the ballot, so that at the end of the process, the sanctity and the integrity of the electoral process will be upheld. Everyone will be safe. All properties will be protected. Ghana will be intact and more peaceful.
Well, the issues about intimidation is one of the key things. So at a polling station, for instance, the EC tells us we have 38,622 polling stations for this year's election. If I go to a polling station, for instance, how many policemen will I see?
We planned with about 40,000 officers. In fact, at the time, we even had 33,000, but because we work closely with the Electoral Commission, the numbers we worked with for polling station was 40,000. So you should expect at least one security officer at every polling station. But like we have already said, we will have patrol ongoing, we will have rapid response teams, and then we will have standby forces to come in should there be the need for that. But there will be at least one security personnel, and that officer can be an officer of the police service, an officer of the prison service, an officer of the fire service, an officer of the immigration service, or an officer of the customs division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, with police officers and military officers patrolling.
Well, issues about intimidation, like I was saying, how are we hoping to address that to ensure that no officer on the ground among these 40,000 that you've deployed will intimidate any voter?
We are there for the safety of the people. We are there to give confidence to voters and officials and everyone who is participating in the elections to be assured that the eye of the security services are here. So we are there just to give you confidence and assurance of security, not to intimidate. After all, we have had several experiences and encounters with humanitarian assignments, particularly this year when COVID occurred. But beyond that, this is the 8th election we are going into. These security services, we have worked together. We have provided security for elections. So people should be assured that it's not about intimidation. It's about making you feel confident and safe that there is a security officer here who, should anything happen, will call for reinforcement for my safety.
We're also concerned about your men, even though you're also concerned about us. Well, in the event of any chaos, for instance, these men that are being deployed to the various polling stations, are they well equipped?
Yes, they are. That we have been trained, we have been psyched up, we have been adequately briefed. We have paid visits to the polling stations where we will give the necessary protection on election day. So we know our way about at the polling stations. That is why there are also reinforcement teams to come and support, should there be the need to, which we are hoping that with the good people of Ghana and the engagements we have had, the one-on-one and the group meetings we have had, nobody would create anything untoward. But they are adequately and sufficiently equipped to protect themselves, to protect everyone who will be at the station, to protect properties and installations, and to protect the process.
Okay, well, so you've been giving us the assurance as a public, but of course, I'm sure the police is also expecting something of us as voters and the electorate that goes to the poll tomorrow. What do you expect from us? I'm sure we're all listening to you.
We're expecting everyone to be law-abiding, particularly on election day. When you receive any information on your phone, almost everybody has one phone in this country. When you look at the statistics for social media interaction in Ghana, and we know that we are on social media, we are on WhatsApp. When you receive any information, be it text, be it picture, be it audio or video, please be sure that it is information you verify or you can testify to before you forward or share with others, so that we do not spread fake news, so that we do not misinform, so that we do not allow fake news to take this country into doldrums. Now, tomorrow morning when you wake up, you get your voter's ID, you wear your mask, make sure you wear colors that do not have political party colors, as in do not wear any clothing that depicts a political party. Go to the polling station, join the queue, follow the necessary protocols you'll be asked to follow. It's your turn to vote, you vote, you leave the place. Voting, counting time, if you want to come back to join in the counting, you come there, you stay at the places that the officials will ask you to do. If you suspect that there is anything that you need to bring attention to as security officers, we have given you several channels. We have given you a WhatsApp line, we have given you toll-free numbers, we have given you landline numbers. The localities have given numbers that go into the local security service command centers. We have even given you Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts where you can use security services to respond to situations. Intel is on the ground, so people should be assured. Just do your bit. This is all that you have to do. No discussion of politics. If you have to jubilate, should your candidate win, please be civil and moderate. Do it in moderation, knowing that not everybody's candidates won, so that at the end of the day, we shall together build the country.
Okay, but just for a quick clarification, I know you really have to leave us, but this joint forces that we talked about, the police, immigration, prison officers, they make up the 40,000. Just for clarification, do we have the military as part of this deployment as well?
The military deployment is for patrolling, is for rapid response, is for standby force, such that should there be the need for them to come to a polling station, then they would come there. But the military is part of the task force. Together, we are deploying over 60,000 security personnel just for the election day.
Okay, so we won't find military men at the polling stations.
The officers that will be stationed at the polling station to do the work will not include military men. But should there be the need for them to come in to restore something or to come and effect arrest, then they would come in with the police. But ordinarily, the officers that have been assigned to the polling stations do not include military men.
Okay. Madam Sheila Beye-Bachman, we are grateful. That's Director of Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service. As and when we'll have to join you, we'll definitely come back to you. We wish you all the best. That's Sheila there giving us updates on where we are in terms of security. So that's the situation now, 60,000. Now, like I said, head of our security desk, Gifty Andropia, has been to the Independence Square. Last week, that deployment was done. And of course, she covers it like none other. She's put together this report.
The National Election Security Task Force is being chaired by the Inspector General of Police, James Opombwenu. He has also been the mouthpiece for the team, with 6,178 hotspots identified and over 62,000 men to be deployed. The task force was out on the street by the 26th of November with a mobile show of force codenamed Exercise Tafia Lafia. This is, among others, to build on public confidence and to show that the security agencies are battle-ready. The exercise was held in all regions across the country, with the IGP and the Chief of Defence Staff addressing the one held in the capital, Accra. Here are highlights.
The march, according to the IGP, was to serve notice to troublemakers that the security agencies are on alert.
As peace officers, we have the mandate to protect our people and to protect the ballot. And we are approaching these elections with peace. What we are going to do is to protect peace-loving people and not criminals.
The IGP, James Opombwenu, in his address said the security services will be especially hard on vigilante groups.
You have no business protecting or providing security. Security is the core responsibility of these agencies that I have mentioned. If you are not a member or a personnel of these services, you have no business putting on any type of uniform and coming there. If you do that, we will deal with you.
The march in Accra took 5 different routes.
Deployment followed. The major one, which was open to the public, was held on Friday, 4th of December, at which the security personnel were reminded of their duties by their various leaders.
Parade formed up, composed of security agencies being deployed to support the various regions for election 2020, all ready for briefing and deployment. Deputy Commissioner of Police, Dr. Saibu Gariba, reporting. Sir, may I have your permission to carry on, sir? Pray! Stand down! Eyes!
Wear your face masks at all times and enforce the wearing of face masks. Responsible for queue management. Ensure some social distance and proper mask wearing in the queue. Do not take part in the actual administration of the election. Checking voter ID card is not what? It's not our job. It's a job for which people? EC officials. Now, nice. Be alert while on duty. Do not use your mobile phone or electronic device for social media monitoring or any other purpose. That is somebody else's duty. If I'm you on that day, until there's a need for you to use your phone for emergency calls, do not get closer to your phone. Know the contact of your immediate commander and call sign/contact numbers of patrol teams assigned to your area and alert them immediately you notice an unusual occurrence. For example, when a non-uniformed person or suspicious security personnel come to the polling station with what? With a weapon. Do not leave your duty point for any reason. If you must do so to attend to HS's call, inform your supervising officer first and then the presiding officer. Be courteous but firm to turn unauthorized people away from the center. People allowed access to the center are 1. EC officials in their what? Jackets. 2. Security personnel in uniform on what? Duty. 3. Candidates. Their photos must be on the ballot paper and their what? Spouses. Refuse gifts or favors. It could make you appear biased, if not laced with poison.
This is the way I wanted to be, Mama. This is the way I wanted to be, Mama. Aho! Yes, I can see you are in high morale. That is good. Today, we are making history.
That's Inspector General of Police ending Gifty Andropia's report from that deployment last Friday. And we've been speaking to Sheila about that deployment, 40,000 officers. And she tells us that plus the military comes up to 60,000. And assurances that they would be protecting the sanctity of tomorrow's process until we get a winner. And you can see on the screens there, if you're listening on radio, we have the men and women dotted across the country. In Natalia Kwansari zone, we have Maxwell Kudeko, Manuel Kranting is at the Ayawaso West Wogon. All my colleagues are on standby. Precious Semevo, they're all on standby to give us up-to-date, preparations from the various regions. But let me get to Manuel Kranting. Like I said, he's been talking about University of Ghana students returning to campus to cast their votes tomorrow. Manuel, you've been interacting with some of them. I'm curious to hear what they've been saying.
Also, MFR, you know that the Ayawaso West Wogon constituency is quite a distinct constituency. It houses, quite a number of tertiary institutions. And you know that these institutions were closed sometime in March 2020, signaling the absence of a lot of the students away from the various campuses. Here at the University of Ghana, the picture tonight is absolutely different. Well, activity picking up currently, you're having a lot of people, as you can see in your shot, currently, a lot of the students are turning up to lodge on the premises of the university ahead of tomorrow's post. Well, I'll begin and try and speak to a few of the people that I've been able to catch up with. Abbas, good evening. Thanks for agreeing to talk to me. What's your name and where are you coming from?
Yeah, I'm Paul. I'm coming from Kumasi.
Paul from Kumasi. Yeah. I mean, you're coming all the way from Kumasi to come. But why?
Yeah, during the registration time, I was on campus.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the reason why I registered.
During the registration, you were on campus. We know that at the time the university was closed.
Yeah.
You were here.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
That's the reason.
So, MFR, you're hearing he having registered on it. People would ask that, it's just a ballot. Why travel all the way from Kumasi to the University of Ghana to cast that ballot?
Yeah, that's why I said during the registration, I was here for a meeting and I registered here, so I have to come and vote.
And so you have to come and vote. Well, MFA, you're just hearing one of the students here, Paul, who's been telling me that he's coming all the way from Kumasi to come and vote here. He registered at the University of Ghana at the time when the university was closed, but he's come back here because this is where his vote to this gentleman also. Good evening. What's your name? Jabil Adam. Where are you coming from? All the way from Kumasi. I mean, what's the inspiration for wanting to come all the way from Kumasi?
And I've been a student here in the University of Ghana, and then I graduated currently. And then looking at the good work of Honorable Leader Saraman Hassan, I decided to go to campus and cast my vote for her so that we give her another 4 years and then give President Nana another 4 years.
Well, so that's my colleague Manuel Kranting from the University of Ghana campus, the Ayawaso West Wogon constituency. You can see students returning to campus. You saw earlier one with their bags parked coming back to their various halls of residence to participate in tomorrow's polls. And the queues already, these are buckets, put in the queue already. I thought this would start at midnight, but it's already started at the University of Ghana campus where Manuel Kranting is from. Unfortunately, our network and the connection to him is very shaky, but we'll get to him. Some of them already seated, waiting. I don't know what it is they're waiting for, but you can see the buckets, they're already in the queue at the University of Ghana campus. If you're listening on radio, unfortunately, you're missing the pictures, but this is it. People have already queued, and students are returning home, most of them from Kumasi, at least the ones that Manuel has interacted with so far from Kumasi, returning to campus to participate in the polls tomorrow. I'll bring you more from there.